as much as you all want answers and the family want answers to these things, we have an obligation to make sure that this is done the right way and done thoroughly.
Well, almost a week after the deadly fireworks explosion in Esparto, a news conference reveals few answers for heartbroken families and the Esparto community. Good afternoon, I'm Dominic Garcia. We brought you that conference live about 2 hours ago. The Esparto Fire Chief and Yolo County Sheriff's Office both made themselves available. They answered questions about the investigation into the explosion. They killed 7 people, but not present was the agency leading the investigation. That is the state fire marshal. Your reporter Madison Keevy been on this since the first hours of this incident, joining us live now in Esparto. Madison, we got some answers, but still a lot of questions out there.
Still a lot of questions, and you touched on it there. The lead agency was not at this press conference, but officials say they were invited. One of the big takeaways that we have is that clarity is still at least 48 hours away for families because of what they're calling rapid DNA testing. The remains found over the weekend now going through the DNA testing process, and they say it could be at least 2 days before they can officially tell families what they've told us they've known since some of the first hours of this incident here. So they're still waiting on that. Otherwise, not much about the investigation. Obviously, the state fire marshal is the lead, and all of the questions related to the investigation were punted to them, and they weren't there. What we did get insights, though, on are some of the personnel questions that we've had and that we found out over the last few days. One of those being a volunteer firefighter with Esparto Fire, who was the first agency called to this scene, Craig Cutright. He is linked to owning a fireworks business that is linked to this property, and he's on a leave of absence, the chief says. We also got a little more understanding about, kind of some of the conversations that have happened, and that he is not involved in this investigation. The other thing that we're still waiting on is, and that we were told right out of the gate, is that they would not answer questions on any permits or land ownership. And you might recall, we've also reported that a Yolo County Sheriff's Lieutenant owns the property, lives on the property. His home was destroyed. They didn't give us any answers about that, and that agency too was one of the first on the scene responding to this. And if there was a conflict of interest, they didn't have an answer. What they could tell us, though, is in response to some of the families' concerns that we've repeatedly reported here, the families saying that there was a delay in the response, and the Esparto Fire Chief gave some insights on what was going through their minds in those first few minutes.
Always want to put life safety as our first priority. It is always our first priority, but we also have to be able and be professional and assess the situation for what it really is. And given the magnitude of this incident, staring at that incident, knowing what was occurring, we had to make the most appropriate decision to protect the rest of the lives that were at stake. And so we made the decision to conduct the operation that we did, which was more of a defensive operation in mitigating the spread of the incident.
You see those signs here, we've showed you these. They've been added to over the last few days by some family members and friends of some of those victims. They were here on the road as officials were coming in and out from that press conference today. And when we talk about the families, obviously their reaction to this, right? We've identified at least 4 of those 7 individuals who were killed in this incident. And family members that I've spoken to, even after this press conference, say they are frustrated by what they feel is a lack of information, even still out of this press conference today. They still have a lot of those same investigation questions that both the chief and the undersheriff said could only be handled by the state fire marshal. And so there's some frustration and still calls for clarity here today. So, bringing it back to, I've spoken to them. We're going to hear from them coming up tonight at 4:30, at 5, and at 6, their response to this latest update. And then those unanswered questions, I don't know when we'll get those answers because officials say they don't have another press conference scheduled, and it may just be a press release as we go through. But we know there's that 48 hours, they say, until they can officially identify those 7 individuals who were killed in this incident.
All right, Madison Keevy in Esparto, getting the latest on that situation out there. Madison, thank you.